One of Stirling's most famous landmarks is the King's Park, once the royal hunting ground where the King, the Queen and visiting dignitaries would hunt deer. Today it features a golf course and a play park, but venison has always been a staple of Stirling's cuisine.
I think sometimes there's this perception of game that it's only reserved for, kings and gentry and the upper class, where actually we've been hunting deer for millennia. I love cooking with fire. It's got this really primal aspect to it, depending on what the weather's doing, where the wind's going, what wood you're using, you always get a different result, and even though it can be unpredictable, I find it really exciting. Lots of people obviously have heard of game, they see it on the menu and they think, oh, I'm not sure about that, or they might occasionally see it in the butchers if they're lucky. Not many butchers stock it, unfortunately, but we're trying to, I guess, find interesting and exciting ways to cook it. So whether it's cooking it on your barbecue or it's cooking it, with like different spices and seasonings, or banging it in fajitas or flatbreads, and just, I guess, making it a bit more accessible and a bit more, something people want to cook and can cook at home. We always say we get our food from the farms, forests and fields around us, so literally what you can see here. At Fodder and Farm, our menus are super seasonally led, so whether that's vegetables we're growing ourselves in the market garden, or mushrooms from the forest, or deer from the fields, we get roe and red here. We try to always say that we measure our food distances in footsteps rather than miles, to try and keep everything as local and as seasonal as possible. As part of keeping it local, we try to collaborate with lots of the other local farms. For example, we work with Upper Ballard Farm, which is just over those trees there, and they had last year a lot of green tomatoes that were going to be left to waste, so we took them all and we turned them into green tomato salsa. We try to teach a lot of traditional skills here at the farm through workshops. We do things from sourdough to cheese making to butchery classes. We're just trying to keep a lot of those skills alive, which otherwise might have been lost.
Now, as Scots are known to be thrifty, and what's not to like about gathering your food for free? But for our ancestors, foraging was a way of life, and even carried on through the world wars. When vitamin C was short supply, we got it from rosehips gathered from the woods and glens of Stirling.
Foraging would have been something that we did since time immemorial. People would have been foraging for food and for medicine and for clothes and everything. It probably died off around about the Industrial Revolution, when people went out of the countryside and moved into big cities. But then during the Second World War, it returned again as people went back out to the hedgerows. So people would have been eating things that you would think of as weeds now, so things like nettles, dandelions, dock, sticky willy or cleavers, honeysuckle, plantain, yarrow, but they also would have been used as medicines. Wound healing was a big thing, so we would have used things like sphagnum moss, which they would have dried, and then they would have had it in their first aid kits that then, because it soaks up so much liquid, you could have put it onto like bloody wounds and it would help to soak up the liquid and the blood, and it also would also have been antiseptic and antibacterial. I also run a social enterprise called Movement in Time, and we connect people to wild foods and to herbal medicines. So we work with various marginalised communities, including refugees, elderly, women, any community groups that want to work with us, and we bring people out to the countryside just to kind of get them out into nature and to learn about what we've got here, all the abundance. We're teaching people to come out and pick responsibly and kind of become aware of what plants are here, and then how they can use them as medicines, and also how they can use them as foods and incorporate them just little bit by little bit easily into their diets. People traditionally think of sloes for making gin, but the flowers were also used for treating fevers. We make remedies in groups, with community groups, and we send out remedies to Calais, and we send it to refugees who are stuck at the borders there. We send things like wound healing balms, which we make with plants like plantain, comfrey and St John's wort, which are all found growing wild in the Stirling area.
Next time, join us as we uncover Stirling's connection to the world's largest grapevine.